Michael Jackson was one of, if not the greatest performer to set foot on this earth. With him still having the best-selling album of all time, his legacy isn't going anywhere. Before his untimely passing in 2009, he left us with 11 studio albums, with 2 posthumous albums following after his death. But what is his best album? Greetings everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you have all been well. Despite my last music video getting copyright claimed, it reignited my whole love for music, and I feel that if I'm going to go on this whole music saga, I should start by talking about the musician that ignited that flame in me. The king of pop, soul and rock, Michael Jackson. This video is my opinion, okay? If you disagree, that's amazing, we can discuss that. But just remember, this is my list, not yours, or Rolling Stone, or some other magazine, music magazine, I don't know. So, for an album to qualify for this list, it has to be completely original. So no compilation albums like This Is It and Number Ones. They won't be here. This would leave us with 13 albums. Also, none of these albums are bad at all, apart from one. So I'm not going to be hating on them. I've basically had to choose from the best of the best. Let's go. Number 13, Michael. So after Michael Jackson's passing, his record label saw that he had a massive catalogue of unreleased songs. So in order to please the fans and their own wallets, they decided that they wanted to create 10 posthumous albums, with Michael being the first to be released in 2010. As you can see from the length of this list, this plan did not come into fruition. Michael contains songs that were presumably recorded in the years after his 11th album, Invincible. The reason why I can't put Michael any higher on this list is due to the fact that 3 songs on this album weren't even sung by him. Allegedly. Sony, don't sue me. Although tracks like Hollywood Tonight, Behind the Mask, Best of Joy and Hold My Hands are great songs, Breaking News, Monster and Keep Your Head Up weren't even sung by MJ. It was sung by an imposter called Jason Malachi. I'm not going to go into the whole drama, but I'll link some videos in the description that will go into more detail on this album. Despite the good songs here, I can't put an album with phony tracks any higher. Number 12, Escape. Escape was the second posthumous album made, and it's basically everything that the previous album, Michael, wanted to be. It contained 9 original unreleased songs by the king of pop, taken from all eras of his life. What made this album quite special is that the song's beats were completely redone, and it was just the vocals that stayed the same. This was presumably done to make the song sound more modern and finished, because many of these weren't. I really like this album. There are some good songs, my favourites being A Place of No Name, Do You Know Where Your Children Are and Slave to the Rhythm. Although I enjoyed this body of work, I can't put it any higher because I don't feel comfortable with ranking it so high when the artist was dead and had no say on the album. Number 11, Blood on the Dance Floor. So this may shock some of you, as not many people count this as an actual studio album, mainly due to most of it being compiled of club mixes. However, there are 5 original songs here that don't appear on any other album. These include Blood on the Dance Floor, Morphe, Superfly Sister, Ghost, and Is It Scary? And they are all great songs. Blood on the Dance Floor and Ghost are easily the best, with both of them actually getting well-made music videos, especially Blood on the Dance Floor. The vocals were amazing, you can really tell the efforts that went into that song. I don't care for the club mixes, that's not my thing, but check out those 5 songs. It's basically like listening to an EP. At number 10 we have Michael Jackson's first studio album, released way back in 1972, Got to Be There. This was made during the Jackson 5 era. The higher-ups at their label, Motown, obviously saw Michael's star potential, which is why they pushed his solo career so early. For a debut album, it's great. It does have that early Motown feel to it. However, for me, it feels like another Jackson 5 album. Michael was pretty much the lead singer of the group, so if any of these songs were released under the Jackson 5 name, no one would have questioned it. There are some standout songs like Ain't No Sunshine, Rockin' Robin and Got to Be There, but I always see these songs on Jackson 5 compilation albums, so I don't think I can grant this body of work a higher spot. It's a great first album, but his following albums were just better, which is a good thing. We love to see growth. Number 9, Music and Me. This was Michael's third solo album, and it's solid, but like the last album, it just felt like another extension of the Jackson 5. Apparently this wasn't even his fault, it was the record labels. This was the last album to feature Michael as a boy soprano because of puberty. Some standout songs include Music and Me and Morning Glow. Number 8, Forever Michael makes it to the 8th spot. It was great to hear Michael's new matured voice, but with the restrictions bound to him by Motown, this probably isn't his best work. Dapper Dan and We're Almost There are some of my standout songs. 7, my favourite Motown era MJ album is Ben, mainly because of the one song, Ben. It's such a beautiful record, it won him a Golden Globe, and it was Michael Jackson's first #1 hit. The Greatest Show on Earth, What Goes Around Comes Around, and Jackson's cover of My Girl are also great songs on the album. Number 6, okay, so now we're finally on the adult era of MJ. Dangerous was Michael Jackson's first album in the 90s, and it's safe to say that he started the decade off with a bang. Like the 2 albums that preceded this one, this body of work is a blend of different styles and genres, which means it can be enjoyed by anyone. There's some pop, R&B, and soul here. Although it's not as varied and groundbreaking as some of MJ's other albums, MJ still came through with classics like Remember the Time, Jam, Dangerous, and Black or White. This is an amazing album, and it just goes to show how hard it is to rank the King of Pop's work. Like, I'm literally ranking perfection. Number 5, Michael Jackson literally made history of this album, pun intended. History is a great album, and I really enjoyed it because I felt that MJ really made a statement. There's songs like Money, which is an allegory for how corrupt the music industry is. There's They Don't Care About Us, which directly addresses racism in a more serious tone than Black and White. And you even have some global warming awareness with Earth Song. Michael was way ahead of his time. Little Susie is perhaps the creepiest Michael Jackson song ever. Scream featuring Janet Jackson and This Time Around featuring Biggie Smalls are probably 2 of the most iconic collaborations of all time. And the song History is a great song to celebrate the King of Pop's legacy. This is probably the most controversial pick on this list. My 4th favourite Michael Jackson album is also his most underrated and most unappreciated album, Invincible. The reason why this album goes under the radar for many is due to its lack of promotion. Jackson had a lot of drama with Sony, of whom he was signed under. This was primarily an R&B album, and though the genre was mainly dominated by much younger artists at the time, Michael was still able to create a solid piece of work. It just goes to show that he was literally the king of anything. He could do anything and master it. His voice in these songs also sounded very raw, which goes to show that he never needed auto-tune. My favourite songs on this album are Heaven Can Wait, Rock My World, You Are My Life, Don't Walk Away, and Threatened. If you are a casual MJ fan, listen to this album now, as you probably haven't heard most of these songs. Now we're down to the final 3. The 3rd place goes to Off the Wall. It was Michael Jackson's first step into becoming a solo star and a global phenomenon. Trust me, this album did not disappoint. It's a pure disco album. Many critics even cite this body of work as the last of the disco era. And if this is true, MJ truly ended it with a bang. Apart from the song She's Out of My Life, you can dance to all the records here. Honestly, if you want to have a feel-good time, just put on a number of these records. Rock With You, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Off the Wall, and Working Day and Night remain solid classics to this day. Did Michael do anything revolutionary with this album? No, but he showed a mastery of his craft, and it was a great send-off from his roots in Motown. 2. Thriller. This is a perfect album, like there's literally nothing wrong with it. Is it the longest album? No. But did it need to be? No. There's a reason why this is still the best-selling album of all time. MJ's goal for this album was to reach a much larger audience, and he did this by incorporating aspects of funk, pop, and rock. He even paid homage to his disco past. With this album, Michael truly cemented himself as a mainstay in the music industry. As well as it being an amazing album, it also produced the first music video on MTV that included a black man, which was another massive achievement. Honestly, all the songs are my favourite. However, if I had to pick, Thriller, Billie Jean, Beat It, and The Girl Is Mine, featuring Beatle alumni Paul McCartney, are my favourites. And number one, the top spot goes to, well, it's obvious, it's Bad. I feel that this was the album that really proved Michael Jackson was the king of pop, rock, soul, R&B, and all genres. This body of work improved on everything in my opinion. More songs, more collaborations, and more variety. No two songs here are the same. Every track on this album is a classic, from the widely popular Bad, the rock heavy Dirty Diana, soulful Man in the Mirror, the edgy Smooth Criminal, to the less known hits like Just Good Friends featuring Stevie Wonder. Skipping a song on this album would be a sin. Listen to it now. All the songs here are my favourite. It's not only my favourite MJ album, but it's my favourite album of all time. I would just be repeating myself if I praised it even more. This was my list for the top Michael Jackson albums ranked. What is your favourite from the list? Let me know down below. King Caramel, out. This is like take 42 at this point. Whew, I'm tired.